Dear friends, good afternoon and welcome to this meditation meeting for the Aries Solar Festival. It's a joy to share in this sacred work of planetary healing and redemption, and we thank you for your interest and participation. It should be remembered that Aries is that divine manifestation to which Christ referred when he said, "I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end." We're told that the full significance of this fact can only be fully understood when the experiences of both the mutable and fixed crosses have been transcended and the cardinal cross has been consciously ascended after the third initiation. The reason for this is that in this instance, the Alpha and Omega refers to the completed whole brought about by the perfect realization of the divine will. And Aries is one of the four arms of the cardinal cross through which the first ray of will or power reaches our planetary life. Pondering such truths, even if we cannot fully understand them, will always bring benefit as we stretch the mind and the imagination, all the while practicing the as-if technique. It's here helpful to recall the Agni Yoga wisdom that it is the lever of faith which permits penetration into the spirit of man. And it's through this lever of faith that one can adhere to the infinite. Aries, as we know, is the first of the three major spiritual festivals, followed by the festival of Taurus and Gemini, the three signs of aspect. Just as the 12 solar festivals form the high spiritual point for each month, so the three major festivals form the high spiritual point in the annual cycle. Here in the U.S. Eastern Time Zone, the exact time of the Aries festival occurs on Saturday morning, April 4th at 8:05 a.m. In preparation for the good work we hope to accomplish today, let's begin as usual by sounding the noontime recollection, holding in mind, as we do every month, our sacred relationship to that blessed, lighted chain of hierarchy that is eternally pointing the way and radiating the loving energies of our second-ray solar system. Let's then strive to be receptive to the energies emanating from all aspects of our glorious sun, the physical sun, the heart of the sun, and the central spiritual sun. This month, aligning with the sign of Aries and all its attendant energies. I know, O Lord of life and love, about the need. Touch my heart anew with love, that I too may love and give. Friends, this festival of Easter that we today celebrate is the festival of the risen, living Christ, the head of the spiritual hierarchy, the inaugurator of the kingdom of God, and the expression of the love of God. Known by different names in the world religions as well as in the esoteric wisdom, it is he who is the planetary spiritual teacher, the true Aquarian, leading humanity and the hierarchy forward into this evolving age of Aquarius. At this Easter festival, the spiritual hierarchy, the masters of love and wisdom, which he guides and directs, will increasingly become universally recognized, humanity's relation to the hierarchy acknowledged, and the nature of God's love understood and acclaimed. As we can accomplish esoterically, so will men and women of goodwill everywhere invoke that love with its power to produce resurrection and spiritual livingness. This solar festival is also the festival of resurrection, bringing in the energies of that great being, the spirit of resurrection, who we are told is temporarily working under the direction of the Christ, wielding the dynamic energy of renewal and resurrection. In the externalization of the hierarchy, the Tibetan master describes this working relationship in the following way. It is this living spiritual entity, the spirit of resurrection, working temporarily under the direction of the Christ, who will restore livingness to humanity's spiritual aims and life to their planning. He will engender anew the vitality needed to implement the trends of the new age, and he will guide humanity out of the dark cave of death, isolation, and selfishness into the light of the new day. It is this energy of resurrection which pours into humanity at this Easter festival and becomes actionable according to the degree that the men and women of goodwill will think clearly, speak openly, demand spiritually, and implement the inner spiritual plans with intelligence. In referring to the energies of this spirit of resurrection that are so pivotal to the transformation of planetary consciousness, the Tibetan master encourages spiritual workers everywhere to open their hearts and minds and recognize the relationship that is now possible with this great being. At the full moon of Aries, he states, let the demand go out for the appearance of this life-giving spirit. Let it go forth with such intensity that the hierarchy will be called into active response and will immediately release the potency of the spirit into the hearts of people everywhere. Along with joy, resurrection is one of the keynotes of the age of Aquarius. It's the clue to the world of meaning, and it is fundamental to all world religions, past, present, and future. Resurrection of the spirit in the human being in all forms and in all kingdoms is the objective of the entire evolutionary process. And this involves liberation from materialism and selfishness. Whereas the emphasis during the past 2,000 years has been on death, the emphasis in the Aquarian age will be on life more abundant and freedom from the tomb of matter. Just as the spirit of resurrection is currently working in cooperation with the Christ, so too are the forces of restoration working under the guidance of the spirit of resurrection. These forces are concerned with human vision, human integrity, and human relations as they underlie the entire problem of the brotherhood of humanity. All of these blessed, supportive, and dynamic spiritual forces, working as they are at this solar festival under the direction of the Christ, are closely related, and their activity, we are told, is most intimately synchronized. In a deeply occult sense, they are all working together because in the human family, there are those who are at every stage of responsiveness. For example, the forces of restoration are evoking response from the members of the new group of world servers and from disciples everywhere. As their psychological morale stiffens and their will to live and their will to good is strengthened, an immediate effect will be felt on a larger scale, and the work of the spirit of resurrection will intensify. As we note through the examples of UN activities in the monthly newsletters, more and more people are beginning to be forward-looking. With passionate conviction and courage, they work for improved planetary conditions. Their hitherto wishful thinking and their emotional desires are slowly giving place to a more practical attitude. Their clear thinking and their fixed determination have a greater chance of success because both their thinking and their planning are today based on facts and on a better understanding. Additionally, they recognize those factors and conditions of the past which have created the global problems of the present. The roots and causes of conflict are being sought, and there are persistent attempts to address these as it is recognized that, for example, profound inequalities, corruption, injustice, despair, and alienation are leading to radical and violent movements and to terrorist attacks. In considering world affairs at this time, it's helpful to recollect that Aries is the purveyor to our solar system of electric fire and of the dynamic nature of God, which at different points along the path of light and life forces the soul onto the burning ground and subjects it to a purifying process during incarnation. Having as its governing planetary rulers the planets of Mars and Mercury, through the influence of Aries, humanity experiences conflict and the death of form, followed by illumination and the development of the intuition. That is, for our world cycle, new states of being and consciousness are initiated by conflict. As the esoteric wisdom points out, if the result of the energizing will is to produce such beneficent effects of intuitive understanding, it can be seen how truly, through conflict, the will to good can be wrought. The distinction between the ordinary wheel of life and the spiritual path of attainment can clearly be seen in the two keynotes for Aries. The one for the personality sounds forth, and the word said, "Let form again be sought," while the note of the soul triumphantly sounds the rule of manas, the principle of the mind. I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. Before going into meditation, I'd like to conclude my remarks with the following inspiring words from the old commentary, a reminder of the greater whole of which we are each a part, and the grand and eternal service that ever serves all that is good, all that is beautiful, and all that is true. When the light illuminates the minds of men and steers the secret light within all other forms, then the one in whom we live reveals his hidden, secret, lighted will. When the lowest of the low, the densest of the dense, and the highest of the high have all been lifted through the little wills of men, then can the one in whom we live raise into radiating light the vivid lighted ball of earth, and then another greater voice can say to him, "Well done, move on, light shines." As the Tibetan master points out, the emphasis in these words is placed upon human accomplishment and not upon what the hierarchy does for humanity. In responding to the Aries newsletter of this month, a co-worker offered the following corroborating wisdom from the Agni Yoga book, Hierarchy. It is time to understand the responsibility and privilege afforded by earthly incarnations. And so, dear friends, let us now take up our work of meditation in the sign of Aries.